welcome everybody to the Hutber and Lionel show. I just got that wrong with Jamie and Lionel show, or the Desa and Hutber, I don't know. There's us two, and we're talking about SMC, which is now actually another show. Some releases from some people, Arroba and Dragonhead models. And you can't see my fingers, but that's 1, 2, 3. So let's jump in. Nailed it. Did I nail it? I think I nailed it. Yeah, I think I got it. And say something so I can see your audio. Okay, that's not that bad. And there we go. Perfect thing. And yeah, hello everyone. Thank you for, well, bearing with us. And thank you for coming back to the show, you know, unless you leave now, in which case, fuck you. But if you stay, thank you very much. And I think we're at episode 3 or 4.
Yes, it's my fault. We've had a couple of weeks where we've missed it, or maybe 3 weeks, because obviously, if you watch the last show, I wasn't too well then, and it took me a couple of weeks to get over it. So, as a result, I just wasn't stream ready, Jamie. So I'm back at full strength now, touch wood. So hopefully, the schedule will be back to regular again, which would be fortnightly for this.
And you know, we run a tight ship here, don't we? We run a ship here of some variety and some capacity. I'm standing up again though, actually, and I think last week I didn't. I missed standing up. The only problem is, you know, I have to stand up. So it's like, I mean, obviously it goes without saying. And what I'm saying is, when you stand up for this long, your body hurts. If you stand up for like an extended period of time, do you hurt in any way? Like,
no, not really, Jamie. I think that's something you need to check with a doctor.
Well, I have, and they were like, "Does your lower back hurt when you stand up or go shopping?" And I'd be like, "No." And then, like, when I'd like gone away and I had a thought about it, after like 20 minutes in shopping, I'll have to go like this. I'll just bend over, and then my lower back really like stops hurting as much. Okay, well, that's cool. So, models, eh? Ooh, lovely models. Just quickly, like, away from the 3 things that we're talking about, have you done any painting recently?
I just returned to it in the last couple of days. So I had, like I said, because I wasn't feeling too well, I had probably about a week and a half off. Yeah. But yeah, I'm painting again. I've got what I would say are quick gaming projects, as I'm just turning around to game with, and also just kind of that muscle memory, just trying to improve little things on a quick piece that I spend no more than a week on. And then I've got a longer project that I will talk about and the background to it maybe in a couple of weeks' time when it's done.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. When you actually finished it? Chicken.
Yeah, and that's the one where I'm hoping to see bigger improvements. And then obviously I do my gaming pieces, which is just to keep my hand in, so to speak, so I can experiment and do little things, but I'm not spending ages on them. I've just got a week. I spend a week on them, and once a week's done, they're done, and then I just move on to the next piece.
It's an interesting concept, that, actually, because when I was painting when I was really trying to learn, the longer I did it, the more fatigued I got, and obviously I just broke at the end, and I was like, fuck painting. I didn't paint for like 2 years, whereas, yeah.
I think there's a place for both kinds of projects. So, like I said, the one that I'm working on at the moment, which I'll discuss in more detail in the future show once it's done, is the one where I'm looking to push myself, learn more, improve my overall skill, and hopefully have a piece at the end where you go, oh, that's actually a marked improvement on what you've done previously, Lionel. And then the stuff that I'm doing on the weekly stuff, more of a case of keep painting, familiarity with paints and consistency and coverage and getting a gaming piece, but also at the same time maybe doing something a bit special on it, so I can experiment on a small scale, maybe some non-metallic metal on a small scale model where you only need to take it so far for it to be effective, but you don't have to be at pains in terms of perfecting it like you would do with a 54 or a 75mm. But at the same time, you are learning and improving without taking it to the nth degree. So I think for me, I think there's a space for both.
I think both is probably healthier. because
Yeah,
like you get some release, don't you, from doing the ones that you're talking about, where you can you're just more relaxed, aren't you? Really, you're not like every brush stroke counts, and like at
yeah,
least
and
I feel
you can
like it.
just play with color and paint styles and that
Mm,
more freely on those, because you think it's a 32 mil, it's going to be on the tabletop. You
yeah,
know,
yeah. Tabletop's a big
you,
key as well, isn't it?
yeah, you're not going to see that. It's not like painting something for display. Once it goes over a certain size, you expect it to be scrutinized in a certain
Mm.
way. Then you start thinking, well, it's a display piece, so maybe I should maybe think about working on it for a competition. So all those elements play an
Interesting.
effect, whereas you can be a bit more throwaway with the gaming pieces.
Interestingly, I've got like a huge respect. Like when I paint like larger scales, I kind of hate myself by the end of it because of all the torture I've put myself through for it not being the standard I want it to be. Like if you paint, yeah, like a 75 mil or a bust or something. Basically, I see some people they post online, and it's nowhere near the level of like a professional painter, right? But it's their level, and they're quite happy to paint at that level. Whereas when I paint something, I'm like, it doesn't look like the professionals, so I get annoyed, and I'm like, how do I get to that level? If you know what I mean, which is it's a stupid thing to think because you can never get to that level. You know, basically
Well,
doing what
you
we're doing.
you well, yeah, well, you can, and we've seen a couple of friends nearing what I would say a
Yeah,
professional level, and we've seen other students near a professional level. And how do they get there? They give up their day job and they make it their job,
yeah, they become
and that's
professional.
how they
Yeah,
do it.
but
So yeah, yeah. So
that's what I mean
well,
though. Like
well, I think there's a distinction between professional and what you would say
award
is
winning
a
is probably a
professional.
better way of saying it. Maybe
Sorry.
like award winning is probably a better way of saying it. Like a master level
Yeah. So
painter, but they're not
yes,
professional.
yeah. So you can be like a commission
Mm.
painter and not what you would deem to be box art, one of the ones we see on Instagram
Yeah,
all the
right,
time.
exactly. Yeah,
You're still making a living from it, aren't you? What you're talking about is that level of excellence, and that level of excellence you can only get to, I think, by doing it, by just that's all you do. You give up your day job and you do that.
I can only think of one example, and they obviously exist. Like, yeah, Albert Font is one of the best painters in the
mm,
world, right? I mean, he's got a very specific, extremely rendered style. So
mm,
you couldn't get him to do that for a job because the level and time it takes to produce such a high quality piece. A commission paint would be like, well, I'll need to charge like 15 grand a model or something. But
yeah.
he's still at that level, and he's not doing it full time. But it's an interesting one because like if you or I spent as long as he does on a model, I don't think we could spend that long on a model because
No, couldn't
we,
operate. Well, there's natural talent, isn't there? And then there's
and he practiced it when he was younger though, and that he probably spent
yeah,
as much time when he was a kid.
yeah. But I still think like anything, you put the hours in,
Yeah,
you'll get
yeah,
there, you will improve.
yeah, yeah.
You know.
Well,
Um,
I guess.
but whether you
Hang on.
But the example you were saying about your pieces is what I've learned as well is you can't paint those pieces, those display pieces, those pieces that you want to have an impact on to the same intensity you do with, let's say, my 28 mil Captain America,
Because you
because
know it's not.
I can paint him intently for a week because I know he's
Mm,
done in a week,
mm-hmm.
and I'll never touch him again.
Yeah.
If you do that with one of your display pieces, you'll burn yourself out and you'll end up hating it. So you probably only need to be putting
That's
4 or 5 hours in on your display piece and then leaving it for 2 weeks,
it's not a bad
then
idea.
coming back to
Yeah.
it and leaving it for 2 weeks.
What?
But what people think is I need to paint that every day for 4 or 5 months. And it's not. You overwork the piece
Yeah, I
then.
don't know how you do it. I mean, well, that like in 2019 was the last time I really painted in earnest, right? Like ADD level, like focus, like where I get that bubble and I can't do anything else but do that thing, right? Um, and I don't know if that's I don't know, yeah, I don't know if that's why I burnt out or why I stopped, or if it was just ADD and I accomplished what I wanted to accomplish, and I was like, right, fuck it, I've done.
That, that's definitely an additional hurdle, isn't it, that you have to
It's an interesting
overcome.
one.
Or you, sorry, not overcome, you have to contend
Deal
with.
with, yeah.
Um,
Overcomer's
which
fine.
obviously I can't relate to and I can't understand, but obviously that is going to make the process more difficult for you as a result.
I suppose it depends how you use it, but yeah, basically, I mean, at the time, I've got like this hair that's dangling right in my island. At the time, I wouldn't have said so because it meant I could cram like 3 years worth of work into like 6 months because of just the way the brain was working. Like, I was just like,
But then you never so
yeah. Then I
your
stopped.
standout
I've plateaued
yeah
basically. Yeah,
your standout piece was the first piece you ever did. It was
yeah,
that Eldar,
yeah.
and
It was the only one I cared
you've
about.
actually but also you actually had other pieces which are so I've seen other pieces where I said, Jamie, all you need to do is put about 2 or 3 more hours into that, render it, and you've got a finished piece. But you can't finish that last piece. So there was that fair miniature that you were working on.
I gave
That
I gave that away to some bloke. Just had to get rid of it. Fuck.
I said all you need to do is do a few more hours on that, and then it's done. So it's not that you don't have the ability, but it's the case of you're never going to see a project through.
Yeah.
You kind of did it all in that first one. I thought, wow, he's going to be one to watch in that sense, because that as a first piece, and I know you were tutored on it, but still, even then as a first piece,
But
it was amazing. But you've not really attacked a piece like that since.
and that's
It was like one and done.
that's kind of where I'm going with it though, is like it's twofold. Yeah, it's the ADD, the ADD thing, but it's also and maybe the ADD is thrown in there as well. But like, people are painting models and they're happily showing the world, and they're happy, which means they're happy with the result, right? And they're nowhere near the level that I could be comfortable with. And by that I mean, like, I like their attitude. You know, if I could paint and not care about like the end result, as it were, then I'd paint a lot more. But because I'm so fixated on as I say, yeah, replicating stuff that I know is not achievable for my standard, so I know that it's not a healthy.
But one, you're trying to attain a goal which is too high. But if you hold out for that perfect, it's the journey, isn't it? There's pieces now that I was really happy with, which are only 5 or 6 months old.
Yeah.
And I look at them now and I don't like them at all.
Yeah.
Don't like them at all. But at the time, I was so happy. But that's a measure of progression.
But you took them to the highest level that you could, or you thought you could take them at that time, right? Yeah. And I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, a very rare.
But I was under even then I was under no illusion that I was like, oh, this is just like 10 steps away from David Arroba. This is. Whereas what you're saying is, unless you're like one of the top 10 artists, you're not even going to bother. Which is which is like,
no, because
that's like saying,
no,
I'm not going to jump into a swimming pool unless I can.
Yeah, Olympics. No, I'm not saying that, because the stuff I paint isn't that level, right? Like, I know that when I look at it, I'm more like, okay, so a better way of phrasing it is, unless I'm taking it to the highest level that I think I can take it, I don't want to do it, and often I'll fall short of taking it to that place that I can, because, but that where my top level is influenced by outside sources in a really weird way. Like, I see something and I'm like, I can paint that. Like, I know I can fucking paint that. Yeah. And then I'll sit down, and then after like a day or two, or I'll have a really good start and I'll be like, yeah, I'll fucking on it. And then I'll just like get stuck, and I'll be like, I can't resolve this little one thing, right? And then I'll get annoyed, and then I'll lose motivation somehow. Anyway, look, this wasn't a therapy session deliberately. Yeah, that wasn't where all I wanted to say was, I've got great respect for people who are posting things that are like low level but are clearly proud of it, and I wish I could have more of that in my life. I think, if to sum up,
it reminds me as well, actually, while we're on it, I kind of want to resurrect Mini Masters Daily Choice. So we did it a while back, whereby we had a tag where members of the community would tag us with their pieces of work, and we would share them on our page, but also mention them on the show. It's something I've got a bit lazy with it because work and everything, but it's something I want to resurrect. So if you follow our social media, I'm going to be resurrecting that soon, and I'd like to be able to show some of those pieces as part of this show. and then we can look at it, and hopefully, Jamie, we can learn from what we see, and it can motivate us as well, hopefully, to paint some more.
Motivation's all we need. I mean, I'm talking to Juan Diaz. I don't know why I say that with a almost embarrassing. Why anyway? The sculptor from Games Workshop a while back, and then he's done some other stuff. Yeah. But I talk to him most days, and I think just communicating with someone about the hobby, but the hobby that brings me passion, i.e. Elder, and that era specifically, really is motivating. Like, my hobby desk is as clean as it's been for a long time, and I'm painting most days. I haven't got far. I mean, I've spent like quite a while actually. I really wish I had to use my stopwatch to like work out when, but just 12 lines I've painted on the War Walker because I've got the war markings, and I want them to be perfectly straight, and it takes a long time to get fucking these lines that are tiny perfectly straight. But the point.
Are you using masking tape?
Nah, that's not me. Not the way I roll. It's not the way I roll, baby. All on, all natural. No, I'm not. I mean, I think I tried it when I was a kid.
Work smart, not hard, Jamie. You're just masking tape, and then you've got a perfect line. You just...
I can't do that. I'm tempted to try it now. I mean, it's too late because I finished them today. But no doubt.
I can't believe you sat there painting lines when you could have just masking taped it.
Masking tape's bollocks, mate. It's like using an airbrush. Hold on, I'm coming back. All right, there you go. They're the lines, Lionel. And I'll be honest, they don't look very straight from that angle because they're not meant to be viewed from the side, obviously. They're meant to be viewed...
Masking tape would have sorted that job out.
Nah, masking tape's fucking rubbish, mate. I don't even want to look at the mistakes, actually, because I've sort of made up my mind that they're done in my head. Right, so that is what I'm into at the moment, but let's move on. Applewood. Oh, Elderwood.
Right, yeah, so this is the first item I wanted to cover. It's the first Kickstarter that's being done by Akelarre Models. So that's a David Arroba's company with his partner, Gavin, I believe. And this is the first Kickstarter they've done. So they've done a few models direct to market before, and that's included busts and 75mm. But this is the first one where they've launched Kickstarter with, I believe it's 5 75mm models and 2 busts, which are available. And this, at the time of recording, as this goes out on Friday, is only live now till Sunday. I obviously wanted to cover it earlier, but because I've not been well and we've not recorded a show, I've not been able to.
Is that right, though? So it says 3 days to go. It says 3 days to go, and it's Wednesday now.
That's what I thought, but when I read below it, it said this will be funded on Sunday.
Oh yeah, it does. It does. This project will only be funded if it reaches its goal by Sunday. That's really weird. All right, sorry. Carry on. I just thought I'd bring it up.
No, I agree with you because it was one of the reasons. Like, should we be covering it? Because in theory, when it goes out, but I read that bit at the bottom. It says it will be funded on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. 5 p.m. Sunday, 6th of March.
Yeah. So I think the point is, as soon as you watch the show, if you are interested, jump over to the Kickstarter and look at the yarns of Elderwood's Kickstarter, because you're not going to have very long to be able to back it from watching this show. Yeah. One thing that's worth mentioning is this is going to come to general release on their website once they've fulfilled the backers. However, as is always the case, you get exclusives through the Kickstarter that you're not going to get at retail. So some of the 75mm models come with pets, and they're only going to be available as part of the Kickstarter purchase. They won't be available at retail. In addition, they're doing packages whereby you're going to get tutorials with some of the models if you go for that package from David Arroba. And I'm not too sure if they're from other guest artists as well.
Yeah, Eric Swinston painted that. I mean, it's
Eric Swinston, yeah. Andy Wardle's in there as well. Yeah. It is.
Hell, the standard's just ridiculous. Like, there's so many things that I thought I was learning while painting, right? Like, and then I look at this and I'm like, oh, fuck off. You can't learn that. Like, that is high level. Really is impressive. I'm not here to suck people's dicks anyway, so. I didn't.
That one's been done by Andy Wardle, and it's his. You can tell his style now, but although I think he's getting slightly more desaturated in recent releases. I don't know if he's playing around with different colours. He used to be a bit more saturated, but yeah, I like that, and I like the way he's modelled it.
Oh wow, the base is bloody cool, actually, isn't it? Look. It's like
Yeah,
floating.
in terms of what the.
If you look at the base, the way it connects to the actual plinth is trees,
Yeah,
wood.
so I
That's
think.
cool.
Yeah, so I think there's a guy called Tarot Maker who makes bases, and on the top it's solid, but it's hollow resin. I think what he's done is because I think he sponsors Andy or he sends them to Andy. I've got a couple of his as well, and all he's done is flipped it around and just plugged it in the hollow side. That's what
It's
I think.
pretty cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a nice piece, and that's
It's the
David.
same guy, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Same guy. So the top one's done by Andy Wardle,
Mm.
and the one below is done by David Arroba, and that's his rendition. Now, I read some of the background, but essentially what they are, they're all based on fables, but they're slightly darker in the sense that on the face of it, they look like friendly characters who will give you a gift, but there's always some dark offering you have to give, or some dark communion that you have to do in order to do that. But what I would say is, if you're interested in the background, go and have a read. They put a lot of effort into it.
A lot of models.
This is something that they had envisioned before they started up the company. And obviously, once the company's been going now for about a year and a half, couple of years now, they've now decided to go for the Kickstarter and try to realize this dream of theirs and release these models. And once again, like I said, you don't have much time from seeing this recording to going and backing, particularly if you want the Kickstarter exclusives. If not, it is coming out to general retail after they deliver all the Kickstarter backers, but you're not going to get some certain things. And like I was saying before, there is a package whereby you can get tutorial videos as well, only through the Kickstarter with certain purchases. So once again, if you're new to painting, or you want to learn some more, or like Jamie said, you get there and you get stuck on a point and you can't get overcome it, you get really frustrated, well, you've got a tutorial video there to show you and guide you through it. And although it hasn't been said yet, I do wonder whether David Arroba will actually do videos via the Miniature Art Academy as well.
Yeah,
once he paints these up in somewhere in the future. So it might be worth an idea. It might be worth keeping an eye on the Miniature Art Academy as well to see whether they've got any videos coming which will support this release as well.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, blimey, so many bloody things happening when you're not got your finger on the pulse. It's me.
Yeah, it was one of those things actually. As I looked through the news, because I've not looked at it for 3 weeks, like I said, because I've been out of the loop and not been well. When you do, there's just so much stuff coming out these days. It's really difficult to keep up with stuff. There is, you could spend a lot of money now just in the miniature world alone, which is good having the choice, but also, as we've discussed in the past.
Yeah.
Oh, and there are bolt-ons as well in terms of plinths and whatnot, but also stuff that they already have in their store. So if you want to add on,
I see. These guys
releases that they've already done, yeah, you can get them. Are they discounted? I don't know. I don't
sure.
know whether they're discounted, but the releases as well, if you go through the Kickstarter, you are saving on these new releases, because once they hit retail, they'll retail slightly more expensive as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got you. Oh, I see. And all the things are, okay, stretch goals basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
They're funded at the time of recording. They're funded. I think they've doubled what their target was.
Yeah, it was 8, wasn't it? And thereafter, they got like 16.
So they're there, but
yeah, nice.
Once again,
15. Okay, cool. Yeah, very nice. Kickstarters look stressful as F for me.
yeah, I think they're a lot of work.
Right. So, bish bosh bosh, mate.
Right, so this is the next big one.
World Expo.
So what we've got,
Expo. That was it.
Yeah, so what we've got the World Model Expo coming this year. It was meant to be a year ago or a couple of years ago, but obviously because of what has gone on in the world, it was postponed until they could fulfill the venue better. And this is a show which basically travels around the world and goes to different locations. It's been in America before, it's been in other locations. And I don't know what the rotation is, whether it's every 5 years or something like that. But what they're doing this year is actually they're going to be at the venue where SMC usually takes place, Scale Model Challenge. And they're going to be occupying that space instead of SMC this year. So essentially it's going to be I can't talk about what it's going to be like because I've never attended one. But
Well, I
hopefully,
was
the reason we're
talking,
excited, Jamie, is this will
sharing a
be
room.
the first one we'll be attending together.
Yeah, big time stuff. Big time. No, I was talking to Albert and Anal the other day about it at GBK, obviously. Just name drop there. Do you know GBK?
I don't know what GBK is now.
Gourmet Burger Kitchen?
All right, I thought it was something from the modelling world.
No.
GBK,
It's the greatest.
unconventional.
It's the greatest fast food
Yeah, I know.
burger place in the world.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know Gourmet Burger. Yeah.
It's fantastic. So, and they were discussing, and Anal is very adamant that this will be the best ever painting competition of all time because, and I go, why? And he goes,
You asked it exactly like that, did you?
like a child, but from East London. I can't remember what I said. I go, what? Because of COVID? He goes, no, Jamie. Arnell's got a lot of attitude on him. You know what I mean? You can imagine him saying that as well. You
Fat in your face.
Yeah, you fucking idiot, Jay. Ugh. No, obviously not. Arnell's lovely for anybody who doesn't know him.
Yeah.
That's why the joke works. Yeah. Basically, no, he was just like, I did say that. And he said, yeah, that. And also the location combined in with the fact that people have been waiting so long. So, like, most artists will have multiple projects that they had that they would have dropped off, but also this is the most accessible World Expo that he can remember in his living professional life, which isn't, I suppose, only 5-6 years he's been playing professionally. But yeah, normally, and Albert was like, no, it's been in Europe before, and he was like, yeah, it's been in Europe, but it's been in like different odd places, like not somewhere so central that everybody already knows how to get to.
Yeah.
And because it's like all the European painters, which are some of the best in the world, arguably most of the best painters live in Europe, and everyone knows how to get there. So yeah, he's like this will be an absolute shit show of quality, basically. And the fact that it's 3 bloody days, like I didn't realize it was that long. So it's good because it means I don't have to do painting courses, but I can still meet up with people and talk for 3 days. Ooh.
Well, actually Arnold's teaching, isn't he? He's teaching.
He is, and he's got a stand as well. If you want to buy any of his models.
Yeah, he had. Yeah, so him and Alejandro, who's his business partner, which are Beyond Miniatures, they had a stand at SMC. So anybody who sells products will be there.
Not me.
Because they're usually at SMC. But he's also teaching as well. So if you look at the timetable, you can see what he's teaching. I can't recall what it is, and I believe it's a Sunday, but go and have a look. But yeah, my only comparator was SMC, which I went to the one before
2019, right? Is that right? No, 2020.
Yeah. And that blew my mind because obviously when you're used to stuff like Golden Demon, which is a great event, but when you look at the scale of SMC and you look at the quality of stuff and the variety and what's there, it blows your mind. There's just too much to take in, and then all these models that you've seen, which are Instagram famous, you get to see in the flesh. So that was already quite something to behold. And now, obviously, the World Expo before this, as you said, would have been bigger than that anyway. So that's going to be amazing. And then for the reasons that you've outlined as well, with everybody just sitting in and painting for 2 years solid, and then they're coming up with 2 years worth of work, it's going to be mesmerizing to go and look at the models.
Take my camera, shouldn't I?
Well, that was the point I wanted to make. I kind of know, and I will be pushing for us to. So SMC, we did some interviews, but it was our first thing, and we were new to it, and we didn't cover as much as we do. I really want to cover this event as best as possible. So if what I'm looking for, obviously, we will cover the names that we know and the things that we think that are going to be interesting. But if you guys have any painters or stores or vendors that you particularly want us to interview and look at, let us know now during the build-up, and we will make an effort to go and interview those and get interviews over to you and see what's going. I think it's going to be. We've come a long way since then in terms of recording and presentation and whatnot, and knowing what's.
It's going to be worse, isn't it? We're going to absolutely bugger it up. It's going to be the worst.
Yeah, and like I said, you weren't there when we did SMC, so we've not attended events together like this. So it's going to be great on a friendship level to be able to go and attend it together, but then also to be able to cover it as well in kind of a reporter. I think it's gonna be great as well.
I want to get a backpack, okay, and it's big and it's got
Right.
a logo on it, and then a big pole that goes up, and at the top of it, it's got a picture of my face on one side and your face on the other side. What do you reckon?
Okay.
No,
I never know when you're joking whether you're gonna.
this was a joke. Yeah, it was a joke. Yeah. Although I
Um,
would quite like that. I wouldn't mind getting t-shirts with your face on my t-shirt, and then you get one with my face on your t-shirt. I'd be up for that as well. Just saying.
yeah.
No,
I think we've definitely, at the very least, got to get our logo T-shirts out of the old cupboard. Is it a bit snug now, Jamie? The logo T-shirt for you,
for me, it is. It doesn't fucking fit.
right?
Yeah.
So we're probably gonna have to order some new stuff.
Yeah, I mean, since
Um,
since we started doing mini matters, and I'm not blaming mini matters, I think must have gained around 15 kg. I reckon. So it's quite a lot. You know, we've only been doing it how long? 2 years? Have we been doing 3 years?
well, you've got enough notice now, haven't you? When's it? It's in July.
Yeah,
End of June.
I'll have lost all that weight by then.
You can hit those weights, get that keto diet in.
Yeah. Well, what
Do
you want to know something funny? While we've got like a couple of minutes, you know how I get addicted to stuff, like yeah. Well, I realised I was addicted to sugar, and when I say like, you know, those conversations we had when I'd be like, I'd be sitting in the car eating like tubs of Haagen-Dazs and Maltesers and all that kind of stuff. Like, I didn't realise that.
Yeah.
I didn't realise that was the addiction side of it, because I knew I worked out there was addiction now, right? Because I didn't want to tell Tina about it. Yeah, so I was keeping it a secret, which is weird because I can eat what I want. I'm a fucking grown man, mate. But I was still doing it like in a secret, and I'd binge as well, which is exactly what I do as an addict. So like, I wouldn't eat sugar for like 5 days, and then I'd go on a mad one for like 4 days, and then I'd be like, oh, fucking hell, I've eaten like, I don't know, 8,000 calories in sugar alone, excluding my normal meals, like easily. So yeah, anyway, I've worked out like 10 days ago that like, it's really weird because again, it's like a physical and a mental addicted to sugar. So I've cut sugar out now. There's cakes.
Well, for 50 days, and then you'll binge a.
Well, the difference is the different. I mean, yeah, sure, relapses happen. That hopefully, because I realise it's an addiction now, I won't binge because I'll know. Obviously, that's not, you know, the reality is as soon as I break that one sweet one that but yeah, I just thought I'd tell you, you know, that it's a great place to be. So now, this is what I'm hoping. Okay, there's 2 possible addictions, because normally my counsellor bloke was saying, if you stop one addiction, you normally pick it up with another addiction. And he was like, what you need to do, Jamie, is you need to break the addiction. He was like Spanish, sort of kind of camp.
Is he though?
Well, I mean, it could have been Spanish, but it's like Spanish, sort of Greek, maybe along those lines. He was a really nice guy, and so now I stopped the old, you know, all that other stuff. Then I got the sugar one. So now I've got the sugar one. I'm hoping that I'll get addicted to painting and/or exercise. Do you know what I mean? Wouldn't that be cool? So
yeah, I'm not too sure that's the fix. I'm pretty sure it's just break the addiction cycle, not replace it with something.
But if I replace it with something really good, addiction inherently probably shouldn't. I'm going to try and hold on. Look at that. I've got a lump on my head from the right. So I'm genuinely excited about Model Expo.
I am.
Yeah.
I am for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, I was excited about it before. I am genuinely excited to meet up with you because obviously, although we do this, we tend to spend, as of today, 40 minutes setting up, trying to figure stuff out. We don't actually talk, do we?
No, we can't, because I'm like, do me a sound test, Lionel.
Yeah, we don't actually catch up.
No.
Then we do the recording,
Yeah.
and obviously, as soon as the recording's done, I've got to shoot up and eat dinner. So we don't actually socialise in any real context. So that's good. But SMC was such a good laugh,
Yeah.
and just meeting up with people and the vibe. And then obviously we've had the drought, haven't we, where we haven't been able to socialise properly.
Yeah.
So the fact this is the first one in 2.5 years, it is going to be very
And
good.
I'm going to give you a camera as well. I'll put you behind the camera. I'll have a camera. I'm looking forward to it on many levels, actually. Exactly that. It's a shame we're not going to fly together, you know. Not that we need to spend any more time other than the 3 days, but you know, it's probably more fun than flying by myself. Although maybe Albert and I now, but they have friends too, so I'll probably just anyway. I don't want. In a way, flying by yourself is quite nice as well. But no, I'm
It,
looking
it
forward
had
to it.
momentarily crossed my mind,
Of coming down
but then I
or me
thought,
going up. Yeah,
but then I thought, because obviously East Midlands Airport is 25 minutes from where I
yeah,
live.
that is a lot easier.
So and last time I went, it was a small jet. It was like one flight out. But last time I went, it took me 2 hours to get over there. I will literally be travelling down to London longer to meet up with you, to
Yeah,
get onto the
it's
plane
probably not
to
worth it.
fly out. I'd already be in
Yeah,
Amsterdam by
I
then.
think we'll do the same thing that we did in Spain, won't we? We'll just meet up like normal people.
Can't remember what we
Spain, I don't know. I think our
Uh,
flights actually landed quite reasonably well. So we fly into Amsterdam, do we? And then we get a bus or a train,
yeah,
do we?
and then it's basically like a shuttle train which goes. I can't remember now. It goes hourly. It's only about £20 each way.
Mm.
Goes hourly from there, and then you just go down. So I'll just wait for you at the airport, and
Yeah,
we'll
or
we'll
vice
go down
versa.
together.
Yeah,
The other thing that I really need to go to this year is this is my addiction. I
Monty,
need to because it's
Monty,
Monty, and that's going to take a lot of organisation because
where to stay?
it's not easy to get to.
Yeah,
It's not easy to fly to. You have to drive from the
so we have to
airport
get
to the
like a rental
location.
car, will we?
Yeah, we'll have to rent a car.
Everyone rents a fucking car, I'm assuming, because
Yeah,
why do they?
and
Anyway,
then
how long is it?
it's something. It's something actually I want to discuss with people when we're at World Expo because
Mm.
it seems to be this secret trail. It seems to me that you need to know how to get there. So
Does
if we know
sound
a few people going, we'll see if we can tag along. But Monty, I definitely need to get to Monty this year as
And
well.
what do you know when that is?
It's usually October time. It's towards the end of the year, so it's nicely spaced
Because
out.
I have to say, until this conversation, so like Albert was like, you've got to take your elder to this World Expo.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
the thing is, I can paint better than that now. And he was like, yeah, but you fucking haven't. And I was like, yeah, that's true. But the more we talk about it, the more that my little...
He's really picked up that London accent, hasn't he?
Yeah,
That's how we talk.
It's been a fucking hell, Jamie, you piece of shit.
Yeah.
People say that they can't watch this show around their kids. I don't know why. So, yeah, oh, fuck. Where was we were talking about it. It makes me want to think about painting a display model because there is a bit of a buzz that you get from it.
Yeah, but the other thing I wanted to discuss as well, I think we were kind of talking about it on WhatsApp, and I said it's going to be easy to just discuss on the show. If it's like, and I presume it is like SMC, what you do is you throw everything in, and they don't negatively mark. Okay, so what they will do is they will medal you, bronze, silver, or gold, or maybe, or you'll get nothing. And they work it on. They will either give it to the entire display if they believe the entire display is at a certain level, or if they believe that one piece is at a higher level than the rest, they will just medal you on that piece. So they will always try to give you the best that they can.
Yeah,
so what I'm saying is throw enough mud, some of it will stick. So even if you think you can paint better than, even if you think you can paint better than your Eldar, it's not going to affect your chances because they could turn around and say, oh no, I think this is all bronze or silver level, so the whole display gets silver.
Yeah.
Or they could turn around with the next piece you do and go, actually, that is the best piece. So what we'll do is we'll just gold him. We'll give him a gold on that. But the problem is, not the problem, the beauty of it is, unlike I'm going to use Golden Demon, where there's a certain style that's favoured. All styles are liked. So you could look at something and go, oh, it's not my best piece, Lionel. And whoever's judging will go, I love the way you rendered that. I love the way you've used the brushstrokes. And the piece that you think probably isn't the best. So, for example, I took two pieces down to SMC, and I felt one piece was stronger than the other, and that didn't get anything. And then the piece that I thought was weaker was the one that medalled, the one that got the medal.
I didn't know you got a medal.
So,
well done.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, it's literally the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You can't look at something and go, that's not good enough. I would say, obviously, don't take all your stuff down. Even like 28 mil Eldar, which I spent 2 hours on. But what I'm saying is, don't preclude stuff because you think it's not good enough. You're better off putting on a display with a variety of pieces. And once again, although they're categorized in terms of sci-fi, historical, and whatnot, they're not spaced out in terms of bust 75mm
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. So you can put, if all your stuff's sci-fi, fantasy, sorry, which it will be, you can put your 75mm Eldar alongside a bust of an orc, and that's your display. So you don't have to be going to different booths going, this is a bust, this is that, this is that. So it's very accessible in that sense. And then obviously you've got amateur, standard. No, you've got amateur or beginner, standard,
And what are we? Are we standard?
I did standard.
Yeah.
I did standard because the pros are the ones who. There is argument to suggest that you need to mark yourself. The guidance is if you've won an award in another competition, like a Golden Demon or something else, you should be going into the pro category.
Yeah, okay.
And what they will do is they will move you as well. So, for example, let's say you're a multi-Golden Demon winner and you put yourself at beginner. They look at it and they exercise their own judgment.
Way too good for right.
Yeah, you put your display out there. You don't go through a judge. So you know how, like in Golden Demon, you hand it in and they put it in.
Oh, interesting.
You put your display and then they close the hall.
Yeah,
and then the judges go around and they do their marking movement. And at that point, the judge will go, "This guy's taking the piss. He's not a beginner."
Yeah.
And they will move you to where they believe you should move.
Yeah, got you. Yeah.
But equally, they won't move you up and then not medal you. So
if
they believe.
I'd rather just leave.
So. Yeah, they'll go. He belongs in standard, and he should be getting a bronze in standard rather than a gold in.
Yeah, they won't move you into gold and give you nothing.
Yeah,
which makes
sense. They won't move you into pro and give you nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's something I need to think about this year in the sense that
it's July, isn't it?
Yeah, I would normally stick myself in standard, and that's because I don't believe. It's not like kind of hedging with that. I don't believe I'm a pro, in terms of when you see the people who are putting in pro, these are guys who are making money from it. People, your Instagram stars and that. You look at their, I've seen that piece. That piece.
Yeah.
So I've got to decide actually whether this year I put myself in there, or whether I stay in standard. Because my theory is, my thought process was until I get a gold in standard and I naturally graduate. Yeah. It makes sense. I don't know.
I suppose standard is probably the logical one, and then if you are big boy shit, then they'll move you up anyway, won't they? So from that perspective,
I suppose so. Yeah, I suppose so. You could do that.
Right, they'll never move you down. I'm assuming.
No, they'll never.
They won't be like, "Oh, this guy's fucking shit," but he's really good for standard.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they won't do that. Yeah. They won't move you down. Yeah. Because obviously, yeah,
and realistically, I think if you're painting that often, you're decent, but you're not quite sure how decent you are, but you're like, I don't know, very good. It would make sense to go to the pro because the odds are you want to win the better one, and the pro is obviously the better than the standard. Like if I'd been painting,
and the other thing as well, it's an open competition, so you're only ever competing against yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
So unlike other competitions where you look at one and you think, oh, David Arroba and Alfonso and Mark Mascalange in there. I don't want to enter that category because they're going to finish top 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
It's not that. They can hand out 25 golds if they all hit a certain level. So what I love about it is you're only competing against yourself. So in theory, this year, I've got to try and get better than bronze, which is nice, which is really nice because the only other experience I've got is Golden Demon, and you've got pin.
Yeah.
They've introduced obviously the
commended.
Commended, haven't you? But I don't know but you've got pin and then top 3, and there's no way of gauging. I mean, I know I'm better than I was when I first entered Golden Demon, but that's not.
You're still exactly. If 10 good people enter Golden Demon on that day
in your graduation, and subliminally, even though that's a better piece than I entered 2 years ago. If you're walking away with a pin again, subliminally you think to yourself, no, I haven't really improved, have I? Whereas with the open style, you've only got yourself to blame because there wasn't only so many silvers to go out, or only so many gold. You've just not hit the level.
Yeah.
That's where it's worth getting that feedback, because obviously at Golden Demon you get your feedback, and it's like, well, you could have done this, you could have done that, but the real feedback is
get a lot better.
As good as Andy Wardle.
Yeah.
You're not as good as Andy. You're not as good as Andy Wardle, and he was in there, and he got first, and Richard Gray was in there, and he got first, second, or third. So that's where that feedback is kind of limited, because you know the reality of why you're not gonna get there. Not that I'm anywhere near there. It's not bar for all those I would have been in the top 3. I'm nowhere near that. But what I'm saying is, the stepping stones is a lot more manageable in an open competition, because nothing's stopping you but you in that sense.
I agree. And it's a nice way, and it's a nice, getaway. It's a proper holiday. We're going to eat food. We're going to drink. My camera's obviously died of battery. So yeah, I am. It's going to be cracking. It's 5 months away, Lionel. 5 months.
It is, and obviously nearer to the time, what we'll do is we'll do some more. We'll probably do a cast focused on it, whereby we'll say, but also in the comments below, drop down once we know what vendors are going to be there, because it's still early days. Drop down in the comments what vendors you want us to approach to see whether they're going to give us willing to give us an interview, and we'll seek them out.
It's cracking stuff, man.
Yeah, and on that note, as you've not paid your electricity bill, and it's
whoops, that was a loud laugh. Yeah. Thanks. Thank you, everyone. If you did.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah. Thanks for watching. And I know we often joke about saying, "Oh, don't bother with the whole," sharing that. Actually, if you can comment, if you can like, if you can subscribe, really, it does help, because as much as we don't like to play that game, it does affect the algorithm and it does affect the views. And it would be nice to get the channel to start growing again. It's had a bit of a stalemate, and it would be nice to get the views up as well. Yeah. So,
and I suppose if you are, go on. Sorry.
It's very difficult to gauge now when you're about to talk to the
camera. Exactly. Yeah.
And if you are in any painting groups, amongst your friends, and you think they might be interested, then obviously share it amongst your small group of hobbyists. It all helps.
Yeah, and if you've got a big group of hobbyists, even better. If you fire it out 100 times, maybe one will find it. It's been enjoyable. I'm looking forward to World Expo, and I'm glad you're better as well. Well done.
Yeah, thanks. Although the cost started to creep in again. Maybe this no, it's okay, but nothing can't manage. So the next joint cast will be in a couple of weeks then, and then Jamie might put something out in the interim.
Maybe not. Maybe I will. Yeah, exactly. Right. Thank you all.
Hey guys. Take care, guys. See you later.